Hey everybody, and welcome to day 9 of 9 at Dana Mecum's 37th Original Spring Classic here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Bree, we have made it to show 3 of Mecum in the morning. Can you believe it?
We've made it to show 3. We've made it to day 9. I'm ready to crawl in bed and go to sleep.
Well, before any of us do that, we have a lot in store for today. Obviously, this auction is going to go out with a bang with all kinds of excitement on the auction block, including a variety of 7-figure high sellers. Let me give you a quick rundown of what's in store that's going to be crossing the auction block. Today, we have 345 vehicles. That is also composed of 14 collections, including one of the noteworthy ones is from the founder of the House of Color, a stellar collection of custom 1930s Fords. We also have 26 motorcycles, including the Frank McCauley collection that we mentioned on yesterday's show, and we're going to be spotlighting today. We also have some road art crossing the block, along with a tractor.
I love a good tractor, Matt.
We had some excitement yesterday with a tractor on the block, a Porsche tractor, and just goes to show that you never know what you will find when you come to a Mecum auction.
Literally bicycles, tractors, big trucks, little trucks. It never ceases to amaze me watching what rolls over the block.
Well, speaking of being amazed on the block, I think that's an appropriate segue to what we have next. As you might recall, was it yesterday's show or 2 days? Earlier this week, Bree challenged myself to head down to the red carpet, so we could show how we start our day here at Mecum Auctions. It's become a long-standing tradition to get our crowd revved up by playing Thunderstruck. So Bree and I headed down and just kind of enjoyed being down there on the block. As you will notice, Bree is nowhere to be found.
I just enjoyed watching you and seeing your wonderful dance moves, Matt.
All right, well, hey, if you want to be part of that, obviously just head on down to the auction. Get here before 10 o'clock. That's how we start our days, or the auction start time. Normally it's 10. The last couple days we've been a little bit early just to make sure we get all of the consignments in. If you can't come out in person here in Indianapolis, of course you can tune in to watch the auction live stream on max.com. That will start shortly after our show here. And then of course be sure to tune in at noon Eastern for our TV team. John Craman and Scott Hoke, along with Daniel Estrada, Chris Jacobs, and Bill Stevens are going to be covering all the action, and that will be running from noon to 6 p.m.
It sure will.
All right, let's talk about the high seller yesterday. Again, talking about what was happening on the block. We had a lot of excitement because yesterday's high seller, the current high seller of the entire auction, is a 1966 Cobra 427 selling for $2.14 million. Bree, did that surprise you at all? Are you aware of the Shelby mystique, or the lore and just the extreme desire amongst collectors?
So I've become very aware at how bad I am at guessing the prices for the vehicles. When I first started at Houston, which was just a short 2 months ago, I was standing with one of our security officers and we were playing the guessing game. I was wrong every single time, not even remotely close. There was a couple vehicles that did cross the line yesterday and I was surprised that they didn't go for as high as I thought. Not being a car connoisseur, I will become one day, but the energy during that part of the auction was crazy. I did not guess that it would go, and I do not know the history of the Cobra, but I'm sure you'll fill me in over time.
Yeah, there's a lot to dive into. Obviously, Carroll Shelby and his team have left their mark on automotive history, certainly automotive performance history, for decades to come. And as you mentioned, just that Shelby Cobra remains certainly a pinnacle amongst collectors, especially with this one being having lots of original parts and never modified, and of course equipped with that desirable 427. Now, speaking of other vehicles on the at the auction, again, we don't have a catchy title yet. I think we'll get one developed.
Why don't we have the fans pick?
All right, so we need a title for Bree's picks. That's kind of the working title we're running with.
And I don't love it.
Okay, all right, so quickly send us in a recommendation of what we can call this segment about vehicles that you see that are interesting and noteworthy. You had quite a collection today. Lead off with the first one. What caught your eye?
Well, it was big.
It was indeed. It was a 1948 Chevrolet 57 COE. So in addition to the size, Bree, what else stood out to you?
Its size.
The size, all right. So COE standing for cab over engine. Obviously that's that kind of upfront bulldog type nose. Not exclusive to Chevrolet, but definitely unique era of trucking. This custom utilized 5 different trucks to create that look of that kind of 2-pod cabin, and I love how it actually has a piece connecting the 2 cabins so the front passengers can have some dialogue with the rear passengers. But beautiful restoration.
And it's big.
It is big, Bree. Yeah, it is, Bree. It is big. That sold for $51,700. Your next pick was even more peculiar. What was that?
It caught so when we walk in every morning, I had to pass it every morning, and it's quite a conversation starter. It's very unique. I can say that is the only one of its kind here at the auction.
All right, and what you're referring to is an 1818 Sawyers and Scoville hearse. And if that sounds like a peculiar find, I will say that this one stood out. It had been through a recent 12-month restoration, beautiful museum piece by all accounts. And just as there are collectors for almost every facet of transportation and wheeled vehicles, there certainly are wagon collectors. And this piece definitely caught a lot of attention, selling for $33,000.
Honestly, it was beautiful. The craftsmanship that went into the hearse, I was delighted by it.
All right, so our third and final pick that Bree had yesterday has a little bit of a callback to an earlier show. So you were really excited yesterday, maybe unnecessarily excited, for a popcorn cart. There we have, there in the corner, we have a callback to our dialogue yesterday about how you talked. Your dog's name is Freddie or Frederick, Prince Frederick?
It's Prince Frederick Aloysius of Milwaukee.
Got it.
Yes.
So Prince Frederick there, I love how you kind of simulated him riding inside. It was a very cute cart. And I will say it was funny because when we caught up on the block, right in front of it was a full-size popcorn cart, and then to see the small one behind it made much more sense for your dog.
Well, exactly, because dogs sell popcorn. As we know, I'm a little obsessed with my dog, and I did actually try to bid on it. So I didn't have my bidders pass on me. I texted my son. I was like, Braden, run. I want to get something. He had no idea what I was trying to buy. He came and brought me the bidders cart, or the bidders car. I had 4 of the ringmen surrounding me. I did get up to $4,000 on the bid. I did not get it. I think it went for $7,500 on the block, and I'm regretting every moment that I didn't continue bidding on it.
It was a cute piece, I will say, and certainly if you, the new owner, maybe they will take inspiration and put their dog in it and wheel it around the farmer's market or.
I was going to call it the puppy popcorn cart, where he
good.
only serves popcorn to other puppies. Yeah.
All right, quite a limited market, but could be something big. All right, well, something else that we need to call back from an earlier show. We've had a lot of dialogue about Dodge, our sponsor here at the auction, and what they have to offer there at the Dodge Experience. One of the hallmarks is the thrill ride. You said you had never done it, and you had a chance to head out there with Dre and experience it. Any other context before we go to the clip?
I had not experienced it. I did not realize how exhilarating it was going to be. Let's check it out. So today I'm getting an airbrush tattoo for Mecum.
That's it.
Does it hurt?
Only for about the first 10 seconds.
Okay. Oh, it's not too bad, guys. Do you like what you see? You can come do it too. But the reason why we're here is on our first episode of Mecum in Morning, I talked about the fact that I had not done the Dodge Thrill Ride. So my cohort over here, Dre Hard, who heads up presentation here at Mecum, dared me to do it, but she gets to do it with me. So why do you want me to experience this?
Because it's the funnest thing here besides the cars. We are.
All right, guys, we're all buckled in. Oh my gosh, how did we not do this before? Yes! How fast were we going?
I wasn't looking down.
You were looking down?
I wasn't
Actually,
looking
I
down.
appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
You might see me again later because that was exhilarating. Okay. You saw my reaction in real time, but we're going to hit up some people that are just getting out of the thrill ride to see if they had the experience that I did. Stay tuned.
All right, so what else do we need to know? Did you enjoy the experience? Was it what you thought it was going to be?
It was more than I thought it was going to be. We asked the driver, professional drivers on those courses, to turn it up as high as they could, and they did. As you can see, that was a real reaction. My hair was all over the place. I was hooting and hollering. Our producer, Alyssa, was in front trying to capture. She's not a big fan of shooting backwards while a car is going super fast. It was tons of fun, but something that we haven't talked about is obviously I have a lot of tattoos. So our producer conned me into getting an airbrush tattoo, which anyone can get. There's multiple options to get over at the Dodge Thrill Ride Experience. But I got this Mecum tattoo. Almost every person that works here at Mecum has asked me, Breon, is that a real tattoo? Last night, sitting in the hotel lobby, one of our ringmen came up and did not believe me that it was fake, and then tried to rub it off my arm. And honestly, it didn't come off. So I think people still think it's a real Mecum tattoo. I'm only 2.5 months in, folks. I have not committed to the permanent Mecum M block. Let's just put it out there.
But that is a great addition to what they're offering there. I know they have a wide variety of other logos connected with the Dodge brand. Speaking of which, one of the logos that we have some dialogue about is my shirt.
And I didn't get one.
You didn't get one. This is what they are giving out after you complete the thrill ride. This logo is known as the Frat Dog logo. It harkens back to the 1960s period of Mopar history, and I love how Dodge has brought it back and included it on some current projects. I have another question for you. We were talking a little bit on air, and I just was curious. It was a unique choice. Was it bright in the staging lanes? I noticed that you and Dre were wearing sunglasses. I just was curious. Was that like to get you ready for the thrill ride? Was that just...
We are trying to be incognito.
Okay.
So sometimes just all you have to do is throw a pair of sunglasses on, even though I'm quite recognizable with all the body ink that I have on me. Dre and I really thought like the sunglasses would really just, keep the people away.
Well, it does look like you had a lot of fun, and of course, if you're coming out to an auction, make sure that you stop by and visit our friends over there at Dodge. Now, let's talk about something else that you're passionate about, Bree, which is the motorcycle offerings that we have here at Mecum Indy. We had some dialogue yesterday about this large Frank McCauley motorcycle collection. Contains a large group of Ducatis. You mentioned you had one in your personal collection, so you were very excited to see this cross the block. And we had a chance to also connect with Craig Mallory, one of our motorcycle consignment agents, for a little bit more detailed look at some of the unique pieces in the Frank McCauley collection. Take a look.
I'm Craig Mallory. I'm a motorcycle consignment agent. I specifically do motorcycles here at Mecum Auctions. This is all part of the Frank McCauley collection. Came out of Canada. There's 13 really great motorcycles. All of the bikes from the Frank McCauley collection are going to be selling at no reserve today, which is absolutely tremendous. I've never seen motorcycles of this quality in this number go across the block at no reserve. We have some of the finest Ducati superbikes that I've ever had the privilege of seeing in person. Very low mileage bikes, some with basically only push miles on them. You have things like 996 in the Infostrada race team colors. Very famously in 2001, Troy Bayliss won the World Superbike Championship on a bike just like this, except with no lights and a little bit more power. We've got 996 SPS, which was the highest spec you could buy of that motorcycle that year. And then in 2008, Ducati decided just for fun, why don't we put a MotoGP bike on the street with lights? And so they built the Desmo Sedici. And if you were lucky enough to be able to get one from your dealer at the time, that's basically a MotoGP bike with lights. Also part of the Frank McCauley collection are some fantastic vintage motorcycles from some of the other Italian manufacturers, MV Agusta, Moto Guzzi, Benelli, and a smaller Ducati as well. We've got motorcycles that are expected to sell somewhere in the kind of, $10,000 to $15,000 range. And then you've got other bikes like the Desmo Sedici, like the Super Leggera, that are quite possibly in the $50,000 to $65,000 range, and they are also selling at no reserve to the highest bidder.
I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am to see those motorcycles roll off the block today. Frank has a great collection of vehicles, cars, but the motorcycle collection that he has put together is a beautiful one. I did say, because I am leaving early today, I told Craig I'm going to give him my bidder registration number because the motorcycles are no reserve. When we say no reserve, Matt, what does that mean?
So when a consignor wants to have a piece, a vehicle, a piece of road art, motorcycle, be entered into a Mecum auction, they have a decision to make, Bree, about how they would like to sell that piece. A consignor can put a reserve on it, which is a number that is known between the consignor and Mecum auction staff in terms of that's the minimum amount that consignor would take for that item. So then, of course, when the vehicle crosses the block, they have the option of lifting the reserve, and that happens pretty regularly. And it happens for a variety of reasons. A lot of time, the consignor is ready to move to let the piece sell. It could be that just they're feeling the energy in the room, and they think that by lifting that reserve, it typically does cause a surge of excitement in the room because the bidders know that it's going to be selling.
Yeah.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, when a piece is consigned in advance, a consignor can position it as having no reserve, meaning that one way or another, that vehicle, that item, that motorcycle is selling regardless of the price. So the reason why it's unique that Frank's collection is selling at no reserve, as you pointed out, is that we know that those bikes will be selling today to the highest bidder.
Absolutely crazy. So if you are a motorcycle fan and you're in the Indy area today, please come and check out this collection and put a bid on it. Those motorcycles deserve to go to a good home, maybe even my home.
And I know we've talked a lot about the dialogue that we've had with our producer, Alyssa, because I know, like you, she's a motorcycle fanatic.
Wait, let me point out something really quick. Something that she'll probably get mad at me about is she built and raced her own motorcycle for us in my prior life. Yeah.
So serious motorcycle chops. And I know we've had some dialogue this week about just some of the types of bikes that Frank has represent some of the cutting edge super bikes that are competing as we speak, or at least certainly within the weeks to come, out on some of the top circuits.
Yeah, so you see some of these amazing Ducatis in MotoGP, World Superbike, and even in our Premier Series here in the US, Moto America. Ducatis are just, it's unlike anything else. So if you're in the car world, there might be something, a Mustang or, Cobra or whatever that people love, and they might get a tattoo and they might join the clubs and things. I would say from a motorcycle standpoint, Ducatis are the one where you have a customer and they might have a whole head full of Ducati tattoos. It's also a very beautiful brand, and the sound, like I was talking about yesterday, of a Ducati is just absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Well, be sure to look for the Frank McCauley collection crossing the block later today. And speaking about the bidding experience, something else we've talked a lot about, Bree, and we'll certainly talk a lot more, is about Mecum Financial Services that is offered here on site. And we have a package with Lee, who oversees that department, talking a little bit more about how they go about offering customers a way to add more horsepower to their bidding. Take a look.
I'm Lee Giannone. I'm the director of Mecum Finance, which is a company we put together 5 years ago at this auction to help finance these classics and collectible cars for Mecum customers all over the country at every auction. It's definitely part of Mecum's philosophy of kind of end-to-end service. So we can help you to pick up a car, buy a car, pay for the car, deliver it to your home. It really was a missing piece of the mix up until we started this. And there's some really interesting components to buying a classics or a collectible that most people don't think about. When you go to buy, let's say, a 69 Camaro, your local bank might not really understand how to value that car or even what they're looking at. And they certainly wouldn't know what to do with one if they ever got it back in a loan situation that they had to sell it. Mecum is the perfect environment for somebody to be able to understand the vehicle they're looking at, make an assessment about its value, and provide a lending service specifically in an auction environment, which is different than buying one at a dealership, and also to be able to do that with the idea that this is a classic car that not that many people understand exactly what it is. We try and make it very accessible. We're here to help people to buy these cars. That's what we're here for. And we've done it to the tune of over $150 million, and over 3,500 customers have used Mecum Finance to help buy these cars at this auction.
All right, so Mecum Financial Service, a great part of the Mecum auction experience. And of course, if you want to learn more, you can find out more at mecum.com/finance, or of course, stop by and talk to the folks there at the head of the staging lanes.
And again, just a quick reminder, if you come as a ticket holder, you can upgrade to be a bidder and go visit Lee over there and sign up for a loan if you need it.
And one of the reasons why you might want to do that is because you never know what you will find. And I got to say, Bree, you and I both were on the block yesterday, and we saw some incredible pieces up there as part of our road art morning. And there were some beautiful go-karts, both vintage and modern. I had stopped by and looked at them earlier in the week because I was blown away with the tech that I saw on them, Bree. I'm saying I saw four-wheel disc brakes, I saw massive intercoolers. When we saw them on the block, we said, hey, we need to find out more about them. We caught up with the builder and consigner, Doug Sharp. He filled me in on the details about how these little machines came to be. Take a watch. Down in the road art area, some of the pieces that have really jumped out is this collection of both modern and classic go-karts, and they were assembled by this guy here, Doug Sharp, who is quite the go-kart aficionado. Doug, start things off by talking about where did your passion come from for these little machines?
I've basically been in kart racing all my life and been collecting, both as a driver, mechanic. You traveled the world racing and building go-karts and working for go-karting race teams.
So you've got a shop here in Indianapolis that specializes in the overhaul, maintenance, and building of these. You have a YouTube channel where you document your builds. Let's dive into what you've got here on display, starting with this one here in front of us.
Okay, this here is a one-of-one. It's a 2024 Villeneuve. It's a one-of-one piece, and it's liquid cooled.
And it looks extremely quick, Doug.
It's for sure a 100-mile-an-hour go-kart. That's absolutely for sure, and get there really, really fast.
So next to it, fill me in on the details on this one.
This is a 1982 C-Open kart, and it's a twin engine with twin TK, 144 cc TKMs, 96 horsepower, 44 foot-pounds of torque, and this car was built especially for the Vintage Racing League. And this car right now, it's been clocked at 106 miles an hour at the Newcastle straightaway here in Newcastle, Indiana.
Wow, truly incredible. All right, let's dive into this blue one.
This is a 1975-76 Hartman straight tail. Hartman karts are a classic American go-kart that at one time they were the most expensive go-kart that you could buy.
And then wrapping up, the green machine on the end. What's the information on that one?
The green machine on the end, it's the Unicorn. It's 1966 Dart Grand Prix triple. There's never been a Dart Grand Prix triple ever offered for sale. It has triple M. McCullough 91 engines. Every single part on the car is all original. Has all the hot rod aftermarket parts from the late 60s on the car, handmade pipes that I hand make myself. All of them are true pieces of art, but that one especially is true Americana 60s art.
These aren't really designed for kind of putting around. You envision them as kind of wall art to really set apart a garage or a man cave and take it to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, this early 60s stuff and a lot of this vintage go-kart, you just can't get any of the parts anymore. So everything is hand-built, handmade on it. I look at it as art in motion. I call my stuff art in motion. Yeah, are they all racetrack ready? Will they all fire? Absolutely.
I want to know, where did all that come from? Do you have a connection as a boy with a kart?
Yeah, I actually got my first go-kart, which was a Dart A-Bone, for Christmas in 1966. And I've been in kart racing in one way or another ever since, and I'm 67 years old now.
Truly incredible, and these are, as Doug said, they are works of art. They are here at Mecum Indy, and if you want to learn more, get all the details by heading over to the Road Art division of Mecum.com. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
So it's important to note, we did try to get to drive those karts yesterday, but Doug did remind us that probably a professional driver is better. So we did not get to take them out in the thrill ride course. Another thing is they are still available for purchase for the next 21 days on the Bid Goes On. So if you are into go-karts, spelt with a K, I was corrected a couple times yesterday, please go on the Bid Goes On, put in the bid that you think is best. But they're beautiful, the craftsmanship and everything on them. I never knew I would be excited about go-karts, but I was.
Yeah, and you point out a good point there, Bree, about just the level that his go-karts are at, where they are fully functioning. He talked about that in the video. He even mentioned that one of them, he has a dedicated driver. That's the level it's at in terms of performance. So serious machines, and like Doug detailed, they really could look right at home, hanging on a wall, adorning a beautiful garage or collection. Just they're at that level.
Or if someone bought them and wanted you and I to race them, we would be open to that.
We would be open to that Mario Kart style. But
yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap up with some comments. We love checking out what our audience is saying online. We had a couple comments that we wanted to refer to, starting with, we had some dialogue about a Mustang, and Daryl was pointing out that his friend's Mustang was being auctioned today. That would have been yesterday. And then there was some follow-up conversation, Bree, regarding which particular Mustang people were, and he said, oh, it's red. So the reason I bring that up is that anyone can go to Mecum.com. You can search the inventory, and of course if you put in Ford Mustang as we have here, you can see all of the Mustangs. You can search by day, you can filter that by day, and then of course you can see all the red ones there. So that's one way. Again, if you're trying to track down a consignment, in the case of Daryl, or some of his friends trying to find the friend's Mustang that was selling, or if you're looking for your dream car, you're saying, hey, does Mecum have any of this? That's one way to go about finding it.
We've been doing it. My son was going to try to bid on multiple cars, so he was using Mecum, typing in every kind of truck situation that he could find. He is leaving Indy without bidding on a vehicle, but we have a lot more auctions this year, so he'll probably use the website to do some research. As you might have noticed throughout this episode, I've worn many different hats. I don't know if you noticed that, but they are all available online or here at the Mecum shop in both of our locations in Indy. Shout out to Kim. We're going to start integrating Kim into Kim's Corner. She had more comments yesterday on our feed than anybody else. So.
She did. We have a lot more in store, folks. We appreciate you joining us here for the last couple days for Mecum in the Morning. We're so excited to see where this show goes. We will be back for Mecum Tulsa, so we have a couple weeks off, and we are so excited. Be sure to tune into the auction live stream on max.com. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys in Tulsa.